Hi, everybody. Welcome to your 4 to 5. Eric Chilton here with Chad Silver and Amanda Ferguson.
Amanda Ferguson is here today.
Yeah, I'm joining you guys.
Filling in today. Good to have you here.
Thanks.
It's probably a little strange.
I've done this before, though.
You have done
I
it.
like hanging out with you guys.
We like having company over.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Especially on a Monday, you know.
True.
Company is usually for Friday and the weekend.
That's right. We'll talk about the forecast. A few changes coming up. We have some thunderstorms out and about. They're kind of widely scattered, though, so not really intense by any stretch of the imagination, but a great week coming up.
All right. Thanks, Chilton. One of the big stories we were following today, the man accused of hiding the remains of a missing man at a property in Winston-Salem just went before a judge. 48-year-old Kenneth Cox is now charged in connection to the death of Aaron Woods. Investigators say they found Woods' body on a horse farm on Everidge Road after several days of digging. He had been missing since 2019. Court records show Cox has a previous criminal history, including weapons charges. It's not clear whether the two knew each other. Today's hearing was just an initial appearance. He is still in jail under a $1 million bond. Boy, it was a violent week around here. Law enforcement agencies are investigating several shootings and homicides. In Greensboro, Friday night, police found a man dead on East Washington. They say they don't know how 47-year-old Christopher Parson Sr. died, but that it is a homicide investigation. Last night, police responded to a shooting on West JJ Drive. 41-year-old Susan Fox died from her injuries. Police haven't said anything about a suspect or a motive in either case. A teenager died in a shooting in Winston-Salem on Saturday. Police responded to Ashley Crossing and Morgan Circle, where they say they found a 16-year-old dead and his 19-year-old brother injured. Investigators believe they were targeted, but they don't know who's responsible.
The city of Winston-Salem is looking to make changes at its Clark Campbell Transit Center. City leaders say people loitering and not riding the bus are causing problems. Drug use in the bathrooms forces the city to close those bathrooms often.
On average, about twice a month, we have to shut down the restrooms. And we have to shut those restrooms down because the toilets are not functioning. And we've found that that is because of the needles and things that have been disposed of in the restrooms. We all know that that is a problem for more than one reason. It immediately allows our passengers and our employees not to have a restroom to use, as well as the cost for repairs.
The Winston-Salem transit leaders say these problems are not unique. Other transit stations deal with them as well. The city is looking at changing the transit center hours, adding a metal detector, increasing security at the facility to help stop some of the problems. Right now, these are just proposals.
You know, our forecast, we've been watching this change over the last little bit, and a couple of showers and thunderstorms to talk about. Temperatures are cooperating. We should be low to mid 80s, thereabouts for this time of the year. We've just been cool for so long. That sounds like a heat wave, but really that's where we should be. This is what the radar looks like right now. Heavier activity really further to the east, so north of Durham and in parts of Orange County as well. And then we see some around Charlotte, but for us, kind of like right in the middle, we're not in bad shape just yet. It looks like most of the rain that we're seeing is kind of hanging in there, very, very isolated. Could you see a thunderstorm tonight? The answer is yes. Will it be anything to worry about? Probably not, but we'll keep you posted on that. Make sure you download the app. Don't forget, totally free. You got a live radar with you wherever you go, showing watches and warnings. Hey, this is nice, isn't it? Air quality, back to the green here. That's for today and tomorrow. We're in the good section, so no worries with that. Again, I want to show you this radar. We'll go in a little bit tighter because the heaviest cell that we're seeing right in the heart of the triad is right up I-73 if you have to be heading north from Asheboro. Now, on a wider scale here, you're looking at some of the rain. Most of the heaviest rain is to the east in the coastal plain, and we think as that cold front kind of sags through the area and moves on to the east, we're left with good stuff for the next couple of days. It'll be a little bit cooler for us, we think, tomorrow. But then after that, we start to warm back up again. Look at this long-range outlook, the 7-day forecast showing 79 degrees and sunshine for your Tuesday. That is a nice day with low humidity. No argument there. Low to mid-80s Wednesday and Thursday. Rain chances are pretty slim. It's a 20 or 30%. We'll go up to 84 Thursday. Friday, partly cloudy, 86, and we're still low to mid-80s right where we should be. A late-day pop-up shower, not out of the question. That's for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Former President Trump just landed in Miami this afternoon ahead of his arraignment in federal court tomorrow. As you know, he was indicted on 37 felony charges last week, including repeated violations of the Espionage Act. Prosecutors say he kept classified documents which laid out nuclear weapons programs and detailed military activity of both the U.S. and our allies. Trump has slammed the indictment, calling it a vicious persecution. The arraignment comes just a couple of days after he spoke in Greensboro. The former president spoke at the state GOP convention Saturday night, calling the indictment baseless and ridiculous. During his speech, he also hinted at an endorsement in our governor's race, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. He leads in recent polls over State Treasurer Del Folwell, former Congressman Mark Walker, and the Democratic frontrunner, Attorney General Josh Stein. The three Republicans told us their focus going into the election.
It's going to take some serious unity. There seems to be a lot of division in our party, but I can tell you this, each and every person in our party knows what our country, what our state is facing, and when push comes to shove, we're going to come together and get it done.
Simply speak to the voters like adults, and what they hear makes common sense, and to focus on attacking problems, not attacking people.
We have a cross-section of support, different communities. In fact, we're the first candidate, a Republican candidate, to have even some of the HBCU leaders supporting us in a Republican primary.
Stein released a statement as Trump was in Greensboro, writing, "The only thing the former president's support will do is spur even more chaos in the already messy Republican Party."
It will take months to fix a major interstate in Pennsylvania after a tanker truck fire caused the road to collapse. The truck was carrying gasoline when it caught fire, and after a few hours, a section of I-95 in Philadelphia collapsed. Officials plan to issue a disaster declaration so federal funding can help with repairs. Until a fix happens, both sections of I-95 will remain closed. The interstate is a major East Coast highway running through Maryland, Virginia, and North Carolina, just east of Raleigh and into Fayetteville. The United States Supreme Court justice will not hear a case involving North Carolina Confederate flag license plates. The state stopped selling the specialty plates back in 2021. The Sons of Confederate Veterans then sued, claiming this decision violated state and federal law. A lower court and federal court both sided with state officials. The decision was appealed to the Supreme Court, who again decided they will not hear the case. The Supreme Court did hear a similar case back in 2015. The justices ruled Texas could choose not to issue some specialty plates because they are state property.
All right, so check this out. Now is your chance to help name the new giraffe at the North Carolina Zoo. Cute there. Mom Leah gave birth to the baby boy last month. Now the fifth member of the herd. The zoo opened the voting up today. Here are your choices: Finn, Nelson, Mosey, and then also Jackson, and Dad's name is Jack, by the way. That's where that came from. Tamu and Bongani. So voting is open until next Monday. We have a link posted on WFMYnews2.com. Cuteness everywhere.
So cute. And you know, it's funny because my initial thought was, oh, there are already names that are selected, but you've got to do it that way because people will come up with some ridiculous suggestions for names.
I like Finn, but I thought it was spelled F-I-N, and it's not.
That's what I thought.
F-E-N-N.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
But I do like Finn.
Finn.
I kind of like Nelson.
Yep, Nelson sounds like he should be wearing glasses. Very studious.
And so when I heard Nelson, I think about when people name their dogs or cats like funny human names.
Yes, I love that.
One of my friends in college had a cat named Larry. It's just like what a funny name to name a cat.
Hunter's dog is Ted.
Ted, that's a good one. Yep.
And I had a dog once, not for long. It was an apartment, and they didn't want me to have him, and I had to give him to a friend. But his name was Bob, and I love
That's
Bob
great.
for a
I love
dog.
that.
Yes. Have you ever had an unusual? Or are they always like Skippy and?
I had a dog named
Spot.
Tika.
Tika.
That's
That's
interesting.
different.
What was the origin behind Tika?
My dad worked at a country club, and that was what it was called.
Okay,
That's
Tika.
interesting.
Yeah.
I knew somebody with a beagle named Sport, and I always thought that sounds like a boy and his dog, doesn't it? I mean, just
Or like when you name a dog Spot.
Spot. Yes.
Like that's just a
C-Spot
stereotypical
run.
name, right?
All right, we'll take a break. We're coming right back.
The best of Broadway and the theater world got together for the 76th annual Tony Awards in New York.
Yes, the night highlighted equality and inclusion in both its winners and its support of the writers, which, by the way, are currently on strike.
We don't have a script, you guys.
With no unionized writers, the 76 Tony Awards ditched all of its scripted banter and teleprompters and replaced them with more time for creative performances.
Once we're past, let's hope the changes last.
Sean Hayes took home his first Tony for leading actor in a play.
I'm shaking. I can't believe this is so surreal.
And director Michael Arden won his first Tony for Parade.
So keep raising your voices, standing up against intolerance of any kind, anywhere you see it.
Messages of inclusion were a central theme, along with support for striking writers.
And we stand with the WGA in solidarity.
And the Tony goes to
Alex Newell!
For their role as a whiskey distiller in Shucked, Alex Newell took home the award for Best Featured Actor in a Musical, becoming the first openly non-binary actor to win a Tony.
Thank you for seeing me, Broadway. I should not be up here as a queer, non-binary, fat, black little baby from Massachusetts. J. Harrison G.
Shortly after, J. Harrison G. became the first openly non-binary actor to win for leading actor in a musical for Some Like It Hot.
For every trans, non-binary, gender non-conforming human who ever was told you couldn't be seen, this is for you.
Jamie Wax, CBS News, New York.
And although not taking home an award, but a North Carolina A&T alum is now forever a Tony Award nominee. Natasha Yvette Williams graduated from A&T's Theater Arts program in 1992, and she was nominated as Best Actress in a Feature Role for the musical Some Like It Hot. Big congratulations to her just to get that nomination. Yeah. One person at this table has been to the Tonys firsthand and knows what it's like. Yep, me either. Describe that.
It's wild that it was already a year ago. And I mean, because it just doesn't seem like it was that long ago, because so many of the memories are just very fresh in my mind.
Look at you.
This was like, I guess what you would call a live report from the Tonys after they ended. And it was just so surreal to be in a room with so many talented and famous people.
So are you, and I will admittedly say that I don't know a lot of the Broadway stars, you know, I follow it loosely, not closely. Did you see people that you recognized, or was it kind of like a new experience?
So the great part about it was I also don't know a ton of Broadway actors, but there are so many crossover actors, those who are in movies and TV shows that now star in Broadway shows. And so there was a lot of crossover, so I saw a lot of famous people that I knew from television.
Even like Hugh Jackman, you know?
Right, yeah, exactly. I mean, like Sarah Silverman was there, and
oh, I love
the guy who played Spider-Man.
Tom Holland?
Nope, the next one.
Oh, well, there's Andrew Garfield.
Courtney, help me out. Yes, Andrew Garfield.
Okay.
I met him, who was there, and the guy who was in Stranger Things, and the guy who was in like Modern Family. Like, just so many people that I know from TV. So it's cool to see them in a different light, if you will.
I have not been to like that level of an award show. I don't care whether it would be Grammy, Tony, you know, Oscar. I would love to go to just one of those just to see it.
Me too. I remember you went for like a day, like a 24 hours.
It was
24 hours.
Was it really?
That's all it was. And how funny that they were back in New York, and I was in New York this weekend, and I didn't plan it that way. Like, I just happened to pick a weekend when it was working out for my friends. So it was strange to be there again for the Tonys, but not go. I thought about just trying to sneak in, but.
Yeah, that won't work. I'll tell you one thing, if you haven't been to an actual Broadway show, I mean, yes, we love our Tanger because we get to see touring, but to see that on the bright lights is so cool.
And he alluded to it, you don't have to go to New York to catch a Broadway show. The Tanger Center in Greensboro hosts all sorts of these shows. Its new season actually gets underway in September and features shows like Chicago, Aladdin, the Tina Turner musical, and Moulin Rouge. Tickets are still on sale. We'll be right back.
You know, the stats may shock you on how much anxiety and mental health issues face young girls in this country, especially since the pandemic. Well, the Girl Scouts, they're doing something about this. I spoke with Jennifer Wilcox of Girl Scouts Carolina's Peaks to Piedmont to find out what their summer program is all about.
We focus on things like feelings and friendships, being able to cope and to be resilient, building the network of positivity around you, focusing on positive self-worth and being proud of who you are and your accomplishments. The second component of the program is then the girls have an opportunity to take the toolkit that they developed during the series home to their families and work on a family patch program. Girl Scouts and patches are synonymous. Our girls will do all kinds of amazing things to earn a patch. And in this particular case, they get to actually share with their family, their caring adults, their brothers and sisters, their extended family, those things that they're learning about how to be positive and how to be mentally well.
Now, Wilcox says the program couldn't have come along at a better time because mental health stats show that this need is definitely there.
What we know is that post-COVID, we have 50% plus of teenage girls who are sharing with their caring adults that they have feelings of sadness and hopelessness, that they're depressed, that they don't necessarily associate with or align with friend groups. We know that our younger girls are having issues with depression and with anxiety, that their behaviors are not developmentally or appropriately aligned with age because they have had such an interruption in their growth and development. And so as an organization that supports and champions girls, this is an opportunity for us to really make sure that our girls have the chance to achieve positive mental health and wellness.
So the great thing about this, so it's not a camp. At first I was thinking, oh, it's a camp that focuses on mental health. It's not, it's a program. But they partner with Blue Cross Blue Shield and some other experts so that they can do this the correct way. I had no idea that 50% of young girls since pandemic have had lots of anxiety and feelings of kind of loneliness, they're lost. And this is really a way, and I also want to say, don't just, if you think your child is going through something, yes, they need to go to this. If your child, you don't think they're going to, they still need to go to this to know how to handle their friends and to know how to support their friends. So this is really for all young women, I think, to go attend this.
I think it's also important that whether you're a boy or a girl, that you have another outlet where you can share that kind of stuff outside of your parents. I think for some parents, the thought is, you're fine.
Right.
It's okay.
Or you'll get through it.
Yep. And so I think, if someone really does feel like they have something they want to talk about, it's another option for someone to go talk to.
It's like the term disinterested third party to me means a lot. It's somebody that's not connected in your life that you feel like I can open up to them because they don't know mom and dad, and they don't know my friends and that kind of thing. I mean, I think it's valuable overall.
Yep, for sure.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Hello, I am talking about parents who are hovering over kids during their job interviews on Zoom.
In a recent article, a job recruiter talked about parents of Gen Z kids coaching their young adult children during their Zoom interviews, telling them how to respond and which questions to ask. But is that a good idea? Blanca Cobb is helping us navigate this conversation. Blanca, parents want to obviously help their children succeed, but how could this backfire considering these are live Zoom interviews?
One way that it could backfire is that the kid doesn't even get the job, but it's more of a subtle drawback. And what it is, it sends this young adult child a message from mom and dad that, hey, look, I'm not sure you can handle this on your own. That's why I've got to be here. And what that does to this young adult kid is that they subconsciously start thinking, well, maybe I really can't handle this. And it keeps them dependent on their parent instead of really thinking for themselves. And as we know, part of life, you're going to make mistakes. So they may not knock it out of the park that first time, but that doesn't mean there aren't any learning lessons in that job interview.
Would you say that, what would be the alternative to this live coaching during a job interview?
Do it offline before the interview. What this means is talk to your kids about tricky questions or situations that you think they may not have thought about yet. And then do role play. Say, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. I want to hear what your answers are going to be, and let's talk about it. You just want to make it more relaxed and more of a teachable moment for them.
What is something that parents should consider before doing any of this?
There are two things that parents should consider. One is ask and see if your kid even wants your help. Sometimes young adult kids are like, hey, I want to figure this out on my own. I appreciate it. Thanks, but no thanks. The other thing is you hovering around while they're doing a live Zoom job interview could make them even more nervous than they already are because they're feeling pressure not only from mom and dad, but also from the interviewer. And then they could just implode, meaning they may not answer the questions the way they would like, or their body language might be off. They might have some changes of voice that makes them sound more insecure, but they're really a confident kid.
Do you have any advice now for the kids? Because thinking back to my time when I was doing these job interviews when I was a young adult, there's no way I would want my parents to coach me through a job interview. But I'm sure that you can offer some good advice on why that you should at least consider the idea.
Oh yeah, because look, mom and dad are going to have life experience that you don't have. So this is, before you jump on this live Zoom call for this job interview, is say, hey, what are some things I should consider? Or I've heard this from somebody. What do you think about it? Or I'm thinking about talking about job salary. Whatever it is, just talk about those thoughts and get your parents' perspective way before you jump on that Zoom call.
All right, Blanca, always great advice. Thank you. You can continue the conversation with her on her Facebook page. Just search Blanca Cobb, Body Language Expert. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the 4 to 5. By now, we're on a first-name basis. Chad, Eric, Amanda.
Hey there.
You know
How you doing?
the crew.
In case you're just tuning in, Amanda Ferguson is here, filling in today.
Happy to be here.
Good to have you here on a Monday.
Thanks.
Kicking off the week with a smile.
Yep.
Trying
to. Some, what would you call those, low clouds?
Well, you know, it's kind of like, this is what we're going to see probably consistently through the night tonight and maybe even tomorrow as well.
Okay.
But we'll be cooler tomorrow. So things are really changing for us. We can get, shall we do weather? Should I just go ahead and
let's just jump right in.
Let's just do that. I'm going to back up right over here. Here's what's happening now with our forecast and some of the changes that we've seen throughout the day. Notice that when we put the time lapse in motion, you're seeing it more clouds early, then we got a few breaks, and kind of like what Chad was talking about, variably cloudy. And that was the case today. We did make it back up to the low 80s again, which, by the way, low to mid 80s, that's about where we should be. We've just been cool for so long. It seems like we're in a heat wave. Not the case. This is exactly right. 79 in Greensboro, 81 in Winston-Salem. High Point, you're at 78. We have 79 for Lexington and also in Asheboro. But it heats up to the mid 80s, Troy, and then down toward Pinehurst. They're seeing 84 degrees right now. Tonight, a little cool, but not bad. 59 degrees, the overnight low. Tomorrow, 79. That's about 6 degrees below normal, but very comfortable. In fact, the key to tomorrow is the fact that we'll see lower humidities with our winds shifting a little bit, but plenty of sunshine. It actually will be a absolute beautiful day. If you're going to do the lunch outside, tomorrow will be the day to try that. A couple of showers across the region. The heaviest shower activity we're seeing right now is all the way east past Durham, but to the south around Charlotte and moving into Montgomery County. We see a little bit also in Randolph County. So if you're north of Asheboro or over towards Siler City, you're probably going to see at least a little light quick shower. A lot of this is being pushed by that cold front. So as the cold front pushes through, we see high pressure back behind it, and with our winds shifting more out of the northwest tomorrow, that takes low humidities down. Just a beautiful day. Upper 70s and sunshine to partly cloudy. That's a beautiful Tuesday. And then we get into this summertime pattern. Now, you know, when you see a rain chance on almost every day in a 7-day, sometimes that throws you a little bit. But just remember, that's what we see in the summer. That's the way it works here. It doesn't mean rain all day. Just means a late day pop-up shower. Low to mid 80s all the way through your weekend, starting with Wednesday.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up today, check out this helmet camera video of a house fire in Winston-Salem early this morning. Firefighters say a dog died in that fire. None of the 4 people who lived there were hurt, but they have to find somewhere else to live. It's not clear what caused the fire. Several Greensboro police officers were promoted today, and we met the new assistant chief. Last month, Assistant Chief Leslie Brown retired. Stephanie Martis now takes over that role. She joined GPD in 2002 and held several roles, including leading the Criminal Investigations Division. 6 corporals, 5 sergeants, 3 lieutenants, and 2 captains also got promoted.
Gas prices across Greensboro are dropping. New data from Gas Buddy today shows on average filling up is costing drivers about 4 cents a gallon, less than that last week. On average, those prices are hovering around $3.30 a gallon. Gas Buddy warns prices could keep changing as the Fed considers raising interest rates again. Summer break is officially here for Guilford County students. While classrooms may be empty, several school sites are busy. In addition to yearly maintenance, construction on new build sites like Peck Elementary will stay busy. The district is in the process of overhauling more than 40% of its schools. We'll take a closer look at how this all goes, coming up tonight at 5:45. Walk into Wake Forest Baseball Players Development Center, and this display is the first thing you see. Memorabilia and the winning trophy from when the Demon Deacons won the 1955 College World Series. That team, led by manager Taylor Sanford, was the first ACC program to win the NCAA championship. It was also the last Wake Forest squad to make the trip to Omaha. That is until now. The #1 seed Wake Forest rolled to a 22-5 win over Alabama on Sunday to win the Winston-Salem Super Regional and earn the Deacs their first trip to Omaha in 68 years. Players and head coach Tom Walter tell us how special this is and what it means for the program.
Honestly, it's everything and more. You know, this moment, I've been dreaming of it since I could ever remember. Being on this stage at this moment with my best friends surrounding me, I don't think I could have ever imagined anything more. And when that final out was made, just the amount of joy and happiness that I felt, not only for myself, but for past teams, for my coaches, for my teammates, that really sent me over the edge and, you know, really enjoyed this moment.
I couldn't even try to tell you what I was thinking after I last out. I mean, my mind was just like speechless, and I don't know, it was pure enjoyment. I don't know, we get on that dog pile, we all get off, and I see all my best friends and all my teammates, and I'm like, wow, like, yeah, we did it. This is awesome. Like, this is everything I ever wanted, and I'm not even done yet either.
It's a big day for our program. This is the culmination of a lot of hard work from a lot of people. It started with Ron Wellman and Mike Buddy and their vision for our program, the improvements we made to the facility. John Curry came on board, moved us further down the field, and you know, when you got guys like Ryan Sosik and Tony Joyce and our assistant coaches, Bill Salento, Corey Mascara, Matt Wessinger, Will Craig, I mean, those guys do so much to help these guys prepare and develop as players and men.
This is so exciting, but guys, this was supposed to happen. I mean, Wake Forest is the #1 seed. If you're the #1 seed, you have all that pressure on you, and you have to go to Omaha.
Right.
And so that's what head coach Tom Walter said ahead of the Super Regional. He was like, yeah, we feel that pressure because anything less is a disappointment now.
Yep, and while I was out of town this weekend, I was talking to my friend about I would say that he knows some about college baseball, but I said, oh, look at, I think I just got the alert that Wake Forest had won and was headed to Omaha, and I said, can't believe that they've been #1 for weeks, and he was like, #1 in what? And I'm like, college baseball, like
overall
in the country.
He initially thought that I was saying like the #1 in the ACC.
Yes,
and like, no,
yes.
like all of college baseball. And I think it came as a surprise because, at least for me personally, they're not really on my radar when it comes to college baseball historically.
Not historically, no, you're right, but this year has been
an incredible
That's
year.
for sure. And some local people on this team. I think for me, you got to remember some of these names because they'll be MLB.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, especially if they win.
They've been building this team for years, so this is just a product of what they've been doing all along, and it's just really exciting to see as a coach, as somebody covering the team, and then just for our community. It's just that's what you want. You want to build a team that will have sustained success over the years to come. And we're seeing that.
I thought about how Josh Hartle must feel knowing that he decided to forego the draft, like 2 years ago?
Oh, yeah, he did.
To continue to play his college career, and now look at what he has done in making that decision.
His stock just went
incredible.
Right up.
And he gets to experience this in college.
So cool. All right, so in sports, when we talk about an incredible tackle, we're usually not talking about golf. But check out what happened at the RBC Canadian Open. Canadian golfer Nick Taylor sank a 74-foot eagle putt for the win. Everybody was rushing to celebrate, including PGA player Adam Hadwin, but security thought he was a fan, and they tackled him down. And I mean, took him down too. Hadwin, a Canadian himself, was not fazed by the tackle, saying later that he had so much adrenaline as he went to celebrate with his friend that he didn't feel anything. He even joked on social media the pictures of the tackle should be hung in the Louvre Art Museum.
And I mean, when you're like, so he a very unassuming look, right? So he's wearing a sweatshirt and he's got a bottle of champagne.
Yes.
And I mean, like, he looks like a crazy fan. I mean, like, I can't blame the security guard for that.
Could you imagine being that security guard, though? How embarrassing is that?
He's going to be on all the late night talk shows, probably. The security guard.
Yes.
It's hilarious.
Well, we can't guarantee any tackles, but PGA Golf is returning to the Triad soon. The Wyndham Championship is now less than 2 months away. Just 2 months. It's happening at Sedgefield Country Club August 2nd through the 6th. Tickets are now on sale, and you can save some money if you buy them early. Prices will increase on July 1st. We'll be right back.
Well, hey there. How's it going for you? Beep. All right, I want you to check this out. This is the wait time for the High Point driver's license office, 2 hours, 14 minutes. 0 at West Greensboro, 3 minutes there on East Greensboro. You know, you can check the wait times at any DMV after the clock strikes noon. What's up with high noon? Well, the DMV has made several changes. All DMVs are now all appointments in the AM and only walk-ins in the PM. The DMV commissioner said about 30% of appointments were no-shows anyway, so that's why there are more walk-in times. All right, here's what else has changed. 40 offices are now open Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Almost every DMV in the Triad has these earlier hours, and 16 offices around the state now have Saturday hours, including Greensboro and Winston-Salem. Those Saturday hours are from 8 until noon. This is full service to customers, including road skills testing. This is all walk-in. I gotta tell you guys, the summer is the busiest time of year for DMVs because so many kids, you know, they were in school and they couldn't take off of school to do their driver's test. So they do it in the summer.
Could you imagine if this changed the reputation of the DMV?
Because you could check the wait times and everything else, right?
People would be like, wow, I'd rather go to the DMV than go to somewhere else.
Yes.
Which no one ever said.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you can also put your name in when you go to walk in so that they can then kind of like page you, like when you're at the restaurant or whatever, so that you can go grab a cup of coffee and whatever else. You don't have to like sit there in the line.
Instead of servicing number
Yes.
417.
Yes.
And you look down and you're 585.
Right. Okay. Now, when you took your driving test, were you nervous?
Yes, I remember that.
Anything funny happen?
I honestly feel like I probably shouldn't have gotten it my first time because when I did the parallel parking, I hit the curb and then they made me try it again and I hit the curb again and she said, we'll just move on to the next thing.
We're going to move on to the next thing. They didn't care.
So I was so stellar at everything else that that was more.
My driving test was fine. The written test, I thought, this can't be that hard, and I failed it the first time. And my dad was so mad at me, so then he goes, now you're actually going to study, and then I got it.
Yes. Well, because they ask you all kinds of questions that you're like, this isn't really all about driving. It's about like rules and regulations and stuff like that, right? All right, so I couldn't resist showing this video. You may have seen it on social media, but here it is. It's from Argentina, a woman in her 60s taking her driving test. She's getting into a little trouble here, and then, oh no.
Just a little.
Oh, wow.
She must have hit the gas instead of the brake, right?
Oh, no.
I can't tell if I should laugh.
I know. She had some minor injuries.
Okay.
She's okay. We do wish her a speedy recovery, but I'm guessing she got nervous. But when you watch something like that, you're thinking to yourself, okay, don't they know that they're hitting the curb?
Right.
Don't they know that they're doing this?
To slow down then.
And see, my first thought is, what is that even? I mean, like they have like an actual like a test track.
Yeah, that's what it looks
can do
like.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, there she goes again.
Because I mean, we're out on the streets, right?
Right.
Like that's cool.
So my funny thing is I had a friend who their mom was trying to teach them how to drive and stuff like that. And so they were at the driver's license place and she was like, I'm going to show you how to parallel park just to remind you again, this, that, and the other. And as she's showing them, she hits both things in the front and both things in the back. Both of the things like drop down. And she was like, we need to leave right now. I'm sorry, you can't take your test. We need to leave.
Parallel parking is one of the hardest things to do especially without a backup camera.
Sure.
Yeah.
Back in our day.
I really need one of those cars that like you just push the button
And it just does
it for you.
Here, Chad, let me park for you.
Right. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Be safe out there, friends.
What an interesting problem to have. A California couple is trying to figure out what to do with 1,000,000 pennies. John and Elizabeth Reyes say they were cleaning out a family member's home when they came across this huge collection. They tried taking them to banks to trade them in, but they just kept being told they're just too many pennies. Then they learned that while the coins themselves add up to almost $10,000, they could be worth even more.
It was a bank manager that got really excited, and she couldn't believe it. When she saw the photo, she almost fell over, and she's the one that told us. She says, "You cannot cash these in. You guys probably have," and she says $1 million penny, right? And so that's when we actually learned about the fact that there's a value behind pennies. We were clueless to that.
Oh, so they're now offering to sell these pennies starting at $25,000. I guess you could say 1,000,000 pennies saved is 1,000,000 pennies earned, or maybe more, millions of pennies earned. That's wild.
Yes, that is. I didn't realize that pennies could be worth more than a penny. So, all right, so I asked you on Facebook, what's the best surprise you've ever found, just kind of looking around. Betty said, I love this one. She goes, I put $100 in a tin can and I put it up. Looked for it for 5 years. She forgot where she put it. We were making candy with my grandkids and myself one Christmas, and we were putting the candy in tins. After they washed them, one of my grandkids screamed, I hit the jackpot, and found the $100. All right, Candy says, cute answer here. My husband, David Paulberg. We got a lot of that, husbands and wives. And then I love Vicky. She's down to earth. Well, I found a quarter this morning, so that's worth something.
I am very low on the scale of finding things too. I mean, I think I found like a 20 once in a pants pocket, and I was over the moon.
I found a 20 on the floor of by the door of a convenience store when I was in high school. And this is video game arcade times when they used to have the stand-up arcade games in a convenience store. And I loved this one game, and I was out of money, so I was getting ready to leave, and I looked down, there was a 20, and I picked it up and looked around, there was nobody there. All quarters, played $20 more worth of video games. Yes.
This wasn't me, but our producer Claire, her and I found $60 on the floor when we were in Charlotte once.
Really?
Just on the street, no one was around.
I wonder. You always wonder when that happens. I always wonder if somebody's videoing me. Like, you know what I mean?
Like Ashton Kutcher, like
yes.
Punked. Like I'm like, okay, I don't see any hidden cameras.
I can't imagine finding like a lottery ticket that would be worth a lot or something.
It would be funny if we started our own like hidden type camera situation like that to test people to see what they would do when they found it.
We need to do it within our own newsroom. I want to see who would do
I don't want to see that.
That would be so funny. Then we can't put them on TV.
Right.
Not a good thing.
Okay,
all right, let's talk about our forecast if we can real quick. This is going to be some pretty decent weather coming up, especially tomorrow. So if you want to do something outside tomorrow, I mean, think about this. Low humidity and upper 70s, almost 80 degrees. In fact, right about where we are now. Look, 79 in Greensboro. So that's where we'll be roughly tomorrow. But humidity levels much lower. You could feel the humidity this morning. We're out there. It gets warm if you look to the south, though. Troy and Pinehurst and Sanford all down into the mid-80s. I say that, but we've been spoiled for a while because mid-80s is our normal high temperature this time of the year. We've just seen a lot of cooler air moving in. A little bit breezy at times, 10 to 15 miles per hour with our winds here, mostly out of the west. We're looking at hour by hour tonight going into those 60s, probably as early as about 9 o'clock. We think we do end up in the 50s for overnight lows. lows, upper 50s for lows, upper 70s for highs for your Tuesday. Right now, as far as rain goes, not a lot happening here, a little bit in Chatham County. The heavier stuff is now moving into Montgomery County. So if you're in Starr or Biscoe, maybe the Troy area, you could see a heavier shower or maybe even a strike of thunder here or there in the next 30 minutes or so. So just know that that possibility exists. After that, that cold front moves by, wind shift more out of the northwest. That is a pleasant flow, and tomorrow is one of the most comfortable days. Even though the temperature is a little bit cooler than what we've been seeing tomorrow, it is just wonderful with lower humidity, and then high pressure moves into place. So tonight, 59 degrees, partly cloudy and drying out from whatever rain you did see this morning and overnight. 79 tomorrow, it's just a comfortable day, wind southwest 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's your 7-day with 79 degrees tomorrow. We've got a slight rain chance, only 20%, but that's Wednesday, Thursday, highs 82, 84. Warmest day of the week when we're dry on Friday, 86. And we stay in the low to mid 80s, between 83 and 85 for Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Best rain chance is 40% Sunday, but just keep in mind all of those rain chances you see for the weekend and Monday, just a typical pop-up late day shower or storm.
Mic check for you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hi, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana.
Hi there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm walking, so.
Hey, 1, 2, wait, hold on. Wait, it's not on yet, but the mic is getting on as we speak, so you might hear a little ruffling. I apologize. I'll stand still before I finish putting it on so you can hear me. Hello, hello. I'm talking at a normal voice.
Mic check, authority preparing a revision of the code of conduct to bring in the board. And
Covering the North Carolina Republican Convention all weekend, one thing was clear. Both political parties want the same things at their core: to afford to live a good life a chance for their kids to grow up and prosper, and a safe neighborhood for their family. How Republicans and Democrats want to go about achieving these goals can be very different, but at the heart of the issue, there's a lot of commonalities. That means there's a lot of room to work together. However, what was also clear this weekend, both parties are full of so much divisive language that it's hard to see the other side wants the same things. At the convention, there were t-shirts, bumper stickers, and hats with curse words about Democrats. And with almost every story I'd post, there were Democrats responding on social media with curse words about Republicans. This is not a productive way to live. The Carnegie Endowment for International Peace did a study. Out of 52 times democracies reached this level of political polarization, 26 of them became less democratic. That's half. To help beat those odds, it starts with each one of us. We must find a way to open our hearts to the other side. Whether that's finding a friend, even one who's of the opposite political party, or taking the time to watch an opposing politician's speech online. Or, heaven forbid, what about watching a little of the other side's cable news network? The researchers from Carnegie ended their findings with this statement. Reducing the threat of polarization to democracy requires deliberate, urgent action. Or, as this research suggests, American democracy itself may cease to be. I love this country. I know you do too. We must act now to find a way to work together. That's my 2 cents. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
There was early morning rain and now afternoon showers. The skies have really been changing throughout the day.
And of course, our chief meteorologist, Tim Buckley, is on top of all of it. Tim, who's seeing some rain right now?
Yeah, I'll tell you, most of it has moved up, but we do still have a couple of showers in our area. So if you look up and you see a dark cloud, yeah, that's probably you, isn't it? Here's that latest radar for you across our News 2 area.